The news people are next on
The Action News 5 team, North Carolina's leading news team. This is Action News 5.
From North Carolina's news leader, this is WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of the WRAL 6 o'clock news. I'm Charlie Gaddy.
And I'm Bobbie Battista. Charlie and I are sitting at this anchor desk for the first time in 25 years. Some of you must be wondering what the heck is going on.
WRAL is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and as a part of that celebration, Bobbie and Bob DeBardelaben and I have come back to do the jobs we performed for so many years. In the news tonight, though, we begin with the recovery work in Riegelwood.
Which is extensive, and worse yet, 16 people, including children, are in the hospital tonight. The governor says 4 of the victims are in critical condition, barely holding on. Today, Governor Easley toured the damage by air and on the ground. Emergency management is working with homeowners to assess the damage. Late today, the governor asked for a federal disaster declaration that would make low-interest loans available to victims. 15 homes are gone, 20 are damaged. 5 of the damaged homes are in such bad shape they may be lost. WRAL's Brian Mims is in Riegelwood tonight with more.
Bobbie, as we speak, families from Riegelwood are sitting in hospital rooms from Wilmington to Greenville to Chapel Hill. They are praying for their loved ones' quick recovery. And there are families here at home tonight in Riegelwood. They are grieving and remembering.
That's O'Kenna and his first cousin, Laverne.
The phone call came every morning, 9:15. O'Kenna Wilson would begin his half-hour commute to Wilmington with a call to Grandma.
I was very close to him. He was a special child. He called me every day to see how I was doing.
Mary Lee Wilson never got the 9:15 call Thursday morning. She got another call instead.
It still hurts. It's hard.
O'Kenna and his wife, Taisha, seen here in a Polaroid from their wedding a few years ago, were gone. Their 8-year-old son, Chris Freeman, was badly injured and sent to the UNC hospital in Chapel Hill. Looking at that baby tooth smile makes Grandma smile.
He just let my own blood grandbaby. Time he'd get out the car, he'd come running to me and give me a big hug.
They all would have been over next week, Thanksgiving. O'Kenna and Taisha and Chris would have been sitting right here at this table.
He liked the turkey fairly well, not that much.
O'Kenna and Taisha had just bought their mobile home last December, a mile from Grandma.
They was excited. They were so happy.
Their home is gone, lost in a sudden and random fury nobody will ever make sense of.
I can't get it out of my heart, my mind. I mean, it hurts. It's hurt, but I try to be strong and stay up best I can. Because I know if he was here, he would say, Grandma, be strong, don't worry. He didn't want me to worry.
The little boy, Chris Freeman, is still in critical condition at UNC Chapel Hill. For the past couple of days, a constant flow of neighbors and relatives has come through Mrs. Wilson's home. They're all checking up on her and comforting her, just like her grandson did every day. Back to you, Bobbie.
Thank you, Brian. Brian Mims live in Columbus County.
The community is stepping up. Donations and supplies are pouring in, and Ken Smith talked with neighbors who felt compelled to help out.
Thank you,
sir.
From these gestures of goodwill, it appears the heart of the Riegelwood community remains intact.
One's hungry, everybody's hungry.
Riegelwood Baptist Church is just one of the sites set up around the community accepting donations and supplies for storm victims. The volunteers say it's their faith in action.
Well, this is what being a Christian is all about, reaching out in a time of need.
I just feel that, you know, it could have been me. It could have been my house.
Nikisha Yeoman McNair lost everything in the storm. She says these supplies will help her start rebuilding her life.
It lets us know that our community stands behind us, that there's always someone that you can call on or count on to help you.
Well, the Red Cross also set up its base of operations at Riegelwood Baptist Church. And, you know, one lady who left today after dropping off donations said she'd never before seen the community respond so generously. But then again, this community has never before seen this type of devastation. Charlie.
Ken Smith live in Columbus County. North Carolina Senator Elizabeth Dole also toured the devastated area today, promising help.
Critics call it a rare appearance for the senator who's been traveling the county campaigning for fellow Republicans. As Cullen Browder reports, Democrats are already taking aim at Dole.
Human tragedy clearly takes precedence over politics, but 10 days removed from a Democratic takeover on election night, Senator Elizabeth Dole still feels the sting.
We worked very hard, that it was a horrendous national environment.
As chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, it was Dole's job to recruit candidates and raise money. Republicans lost the U.S. House and Senate.
I don't think anybody's going to hold that against her, and it has nothing to do with her electability.
Political consultant Tom Fetzer, a Dole supporter, blames the GOP loss on the war in Iraq and a Democratic tidal wave no one person could stop. The other knock on Senator Dole, her perceived absence from her adopted home state. Aside from this trip to Columbus County, her critics argue her trips to North Carolina have been few and far between.
She should be speaking for North Carolinians rather than speaking for the National Party.
She's there every time.
Democrats disagree, and Party Chair Jerry Meek is already tossing the net looking for someone to challenge Dole in 2008. Two of the top names have expressed no interest: former Governor Jim Hunt and current Chief Executive Mike Easley.
They need to quit coming to me.
Still, Democratic leaders hope 2006 shows Dole is vulnerable.
For the Democrats to think that she is, I think, is wishful thinking and whistling in the dark.
The question now, who will be whistling in 2008? Cullen Browder, WRAL News.
Senator Dole's office tells us they do not keep track of the number of days she spends in North Carolina. They say she's attended events in 25 counties this year. Senator Burr's office reports he comes back home almost every weekend and Senate recess.
Well, it is certification day for election offices across the state, and not every race was decided on November the 3rd. And the 8th congressional race is officially headed for a recount. After counting provisional ballots, Robin Hayes, the Republican incumbent, leads Larry Kissel by 360 votes. That's within the margin for a recount, and Kissel says he plans to do just that. We're also watching a state of appeals court race between Linda Stevens and Donna Stroud. One holdup, Wake County's results. They're not ready yet. Election workers will meet at 9:45 tonight to count provisional ballots.
The jury has gone home for the day in the trial of Xavier Allen. He is convicted of killing a retired Wake County school teacher, Shirley Newkirk. The jury is now deciding if he should live or die for the crime. Deliberations will resume on Monday. Today, the Wake County Sheriff's Office released the crime scene where someone killed a pregnant woman. The tape is down from outside the Wake County home. Michelle Young was found dead there 2 weeks ago. Today, sheriff's deputies canvassed the mobile home community behind the subdivision. No arrests have been made yet in this case.
Apex residents can breathe a little easier tonight. Tests show no signs of off-site contamination from October's chemical fire. Julia Lewis reports the news came as a relief to concerned neighbors.
There's no doubt the chemical cloud and the fires that lit up the sky around the EQ plant looked dangerous. But state officials say the contamination from the fire was limited to the plant site.
We don't see any reason for concern about a long-term health risk.
I think it eases the mind.
Carla Hassel was forced from her home after the explosion. She says while the state's findings are encouraging, worries linger.
I think that there's always going to be a question down the road. You never know what's under the ground, what's in the ground.
The state tested soil and surfaces at nearly 40 different sites within a 2-mile radius of EQ. Apex Gymnastics sits right next to EQ. The owner had a private firm test the inside of the gym, and they found traces of mercury and nickel. The state doesn't have an explanation for it. They didn't test that site. Officials admit in the sites tested, they did find mercury and other metals, but at low levels typically found in any urban area. And while neighbors may continue to question the health of their community, the state is giving Apex the all clear. Julia Lewis, WRAL News, Wake County.
The state paid $150,000 for the tests, a bill that they could ask EQ to pick up. And you can watch the entire news conference tonight at 8 o'clock on WRAL News Channel.
Well, because we have to be there tomorrow, we're counting down the hours to the WRAL Christmas Parade.
And we're counting on a perfect weathercast.
It's going to be great. You know, we're going down Fayetteville Street. Remember, Charlie, we used to go down Fayetteville Street at nighttime, you know, but this is great. I'm really looking forward to it. Moms, listen up. Here's the forecast at kickoff time, kickoff for a parade. 45 degrees, light winds. When the kids come, dress them very warmly, and you too. And we'll see you in a few minutes.
New TV5 2,000-foot tall tower. And no matter what kind of antenna you have, you'll get a stronger, clearer picture in your home. TV5. We've brought television reception a long way to serve you better.
You're watching the WRAL Reunion.
I live right here in town.
Watching Charlie Gaddy, Bobbie Battista, Bob DeBardelaben with weather, and sports with Tom Suter on WRAL's Reunion Newscast.
Well, we made it through the first segment. How we do in sport?
I hope we're doing all right. What do you think?
I think we're doing okay.
Okay.
And our reunion continues tomorrow with the WRAL Raleigh Christmas Parade.
That's right. Bobbie, Bob, and I are grand marshals. The parade route is a little bit different, and Mark Roberts is downtown with details. Marco?
Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it, Charlie? Thanks for the toss, and hello to Bobbie, and a special Bob moment coming up in DeBardelaben. First of all, we're down on Fayetteville Street. If you have a car down here now, you're going to have to get it off by 9 p.m., and here is the site. There is the scaffolding where the TV5 peeps will be delivering the parade coverage. And this is the new Fayetteville Street, ready for the parade. You can see all the way down to Memorial Auditorium. The street's looking great tonight, all the way back up to the state capitol. Let's show you that parade route now, slightly different as Charlie mentioned. It'll start Hillsborough at St. Mary's, then down Hillsborough Street, all the way to the capitol. Then it'll go down Salisbury, then Morgan. Just remember Pam Salisbury, Deborah Morgan as your viewer guide. Then it's around to Fayetteville Street, down to the podium. We'll get the whole thing in for you. Our coverage starts at 10. The parade starts at 9:30, but it'll take a half an hour to get to our position, so you'll get everything in there. Oh, and don't forget, Brain Game is on at 9:30 tomorrow, a special segment. And you guys, I have a moment here that perhaps only I on the staff have. Check this out. I have a Bob DeBardelaben umbrella that they gave me on my employee interview in December of 1989. How about that?
I have one of those, and I treasure it very much. That's Mark Roberts, of course, live in Raleigh. We'll see you tomorrow, Mark.
I have never been a grand marshal of a parade,
well,
so this will be a first.
It'll be fun, won't it?
Yes,
it'll
it will.
Be great fun.
Beautiful weather,
Up
too.
next, we'll check back with Bob.
The biggest name in weather. Remember that campaign?
And now, Channel 5 presents As the Weather Turns.
I want the biggest name in weather.
What about Bob DeBardelaben?
Bob who? The hours are noon, 6, and 11 p.m.
Plenty of time for golf. 11, I'll be exhausted.
11, Bob, you can take naps.
I think I'll quit.
You're watching the WRAL Reunion.
We are following breaking news in Durham right now. Officers have evacuated about a dozen homes near the intersection of Guess Road and Broad Streets. They stopped a car there about a half an hour ago. A canine officer on the scene pointed out a briefcase in the back seat with wires and flashing lights. The driver says it's a Halloween prank. To be safe, officials ordered the evacuation, and more officers are on the way to the scene, so we'll keep you updated about that. A little late for a Halloween prank.
Yeah, and the biggest name in weather.
Listen, I want to tell you, yesterday, I want to say kudos to Elizabeth, to Mike, to Valanda, to Bill and Linda. They just did a super job with a very bad situation. It was great. It was great. I really thought they did a fine job. Okay, weather. That's the main thing, and that's why we're here. So let's take a look at what's going on. All right, our highs for today. Check it out, everybody. Not a bad day, really. We are taking things pretty easily. A little cloud cover every now and then. It's 62 degrees at Fayetteville. 61 at Clinton. Temperatures are mainly in the upper 50s, low 60s. Not all that bad. And the skies, you know, clear to partly cloudy. You're going to see some clouds off and on tonight and maybe the first little bit tomorrow morning in the parade, but it should be just an absolutely gorgeous day. Checking more temperatures. Okay, we'll go around the state then and around the country. See the cloud cover coming in? We'll see some of that tomorrow morning. And I don't know whether you heard Greg a little while ago, but there was a system way out west